one of those experiences.
That's one of those experiences. And just something that, like, you know, to encourage or that you can do is to talk to him during the day and expect him to answer you, because he wants to answer you. Mm-hmm. And it's all about putting your focus on God and expecting him, not like, oh, well, maybe he's not going to, you know, like, I mean, that's where it kind of comes to problems with kind of how you see God. If like you think, oh, he's not going to answer me.
Hi, welcome to Grace in Motherhood. My name is Roma, and this is my beautiful daughter, Evelyn.
Hi.
So this is our first time doing this together.
Yes.
We have talked about this for
a long time.
But as I've been preparing on sharing God, how as daughters of God, we are loved by him in my Spanish episode, and I started sharing with her and asking her, how is it that you feel loved by God, or how is it that you have been deepened in that revelation of God's kind of love to you? And so she started saying some really good things that I think can help other people and can help other women like you that is listening to me today. And thank you for listening if you're listening to us today. So we're gonna start with some questions, and maybe how I want to start is asking my daughter again, and we're gonna go back and forth. She's gonna share about how she has experienced God's love for herself, and then I'll share as well how I have experienced God's love for myself and how I have been deepened in that revelation. Okay, so
with all of that said,
okay, so
question.
Yes, question.
Yes, what's the question?
How have you experienced God's love for you?
Let me put the cherry down.
Yes.
I have experienced God's love in many ways. I think, primarily, like, the main way that I've experienced God's love is through words of affirmation, through God speaking to me, through words of affirmation. I think for me, that's my biggest, the biggest way that I feel loved. And you know that's the biggest way that I feel loved. So I think the first time that I ever felt like I heard God's voice was, I think maybe I was 13, I think. It's been a while ago. So that was the first time. I was going through some things of just fear, and I think for many people it's a very common thing, like fear of like sleeping at night, or just like
fear of the dark,
but a fear more like of the enemy, kind of, like, I don't know, I felt like it's a, like, you know, it's a very common thing where people, they feel like the enemy is more powerful, or that they have more tactics or things like that. And so I remember that was something that I was very fearful about. And I remember I didn't know what to do, and I just remember I was praying.
Was it at night? This time, what happened?
Yeah, it was at night. And so I started praying, and I was just kind of silent, and I was like, I don't know what to do, God. And it's what I've heard of more now that I can think about it. It's where you get to the end of yourself, and then you're like, okay, I don't know what to do, God. And I'm like, you know, like, show me what you need to help me to know what to do, because I was getting tired of just having that fear. And so I was just like, okay, God, like, help me. And then I was just quiet, and that was the first time where I just stayed quiet, and I was just there. And then I remember the verse Matthew 4:10 came to my mind, and I had never ever heard that verse before, and I didn't even know I knew about the book of Matthew, but I hadn't even read the book Matthew. So I was just like, Matthew 4:10, is that even a number that's in the book? I don't know. And I was so interesting, because it's like it was loud in my head, but it wasn't like said, but it was just like, it just came to my mind. And so I was like, okay. And then I grabbed my Bible, and I remember I flipped to the verse, and then Matthew 4:10, it says something. It's when Jesus is telling Satan to go away because he was trying to tempt him.
So Jesus says, "Get out of here, Satan." Jesus told him,
Yes.
"For the scriptures say you must worship the Lord your God and serve only him."
And I remember I was kind of confused.
Then the devil went away, that's 11, and angels came and took care of Jesus.
Yes. So I remember I was confused in the moment when I read it, and I was like, you must worship your Lord your God only. And I was just like, yeah, but he said, can you go be gone, Satan? Be gone, Satan. That's just what I remember, like, be gone. That's kind of like what I got.
Get out of here.
Get out of here. Yeah. And so then as I started thinking about it, I was like, oh. Well, now thinking about it now, because then at that moment I didn't fully understand, because what I was dealing with was fear, and in the moment I didn't fully like attribute it together, but I just remember that I started speaking that Bible verse, and I just kept saying it, and
we're saying get out of here.
Yeah, and I just kept rereading like Matthew 4:10, and I just kept saying it out loud, because that's all that I felt like I should do in the moment. And then I remember that after that, I had no more problems with fear or anything like that. I remember I went outside and I was like, Ma, like I got a word like from God, and it was Matthew 4:10. And I remember, and then I just remembered how also when I was in my room, like in the night, I remember I told you, and you were like, oh, that's such a good picture, that the image that came to my mind after that was an ant, and it was like I can remember it because where I was in my bed, and then like my wall was right there, and it was like an ant, and then it was a flashlight, and the flashlight was like this, and the ant was so small, and an ant can literally do nothing to you, but there was a flashlight on it, and then like it seemed so huge, the shadow seemed so huge, and obviously that's what like you're looking at. And so I just remember like that, like what came to my mind with that image was like, that's how like the devil is, that it's like he's a small ant, insignificant, nothing, but with like the flashlight that we ourselves, we put like that importance on them, or well, on him, makes it bigger, and then what we're seeing is that. And so anyways, that was like the most craziest part, and that was like such a revelation for me in that time, and like that even I remember, because that's how I know that the devil is nothing compared to God. He's small, insignificant, he just makes himself look,
or we
big.
Make him look bigger, like the shadow. Yeah,
and it's like that flashlight that just makes him seem bigger, and we just focus on that. But like when you take it away, it's like he's just an ant,
insignificant ant.
And so, right, how I'm trying to tie that into everything is that words have always been a way that God shows me, and it's not even like an audible, I can hear it, but there's been times where I've prayed, obviously, we're all women here, okay? So, but we all want a husband at some point, and as of right now, just boyfriend. But that's been a very big thing where I'm waiting for the person that God has for me. So. I remember like sharing that with God, like okay, like I'm waiting, I don't see anything yet, but okay. And one of the times, because actually God has spoken to me about this a couple of times, and he's reassured me all the times through words like that he pops into my mind. And one of the times was that he told me that I was his treasure, and that he was going to take care of me. And that was in the time where it was just a lot of things, a lot of prospects, but they're not the right ones, and I'm like, oh, geez, why not, but then that's when he reminded me that I am his treasure, and that he's going to take care of me. And that's just one of the multiple times. That's why sometimes I'm like, Lord, why do I have trouble? Like you tell me these things, and then I kind of go into, but what if? And then I go back to, no, you told me this. So that's also, and to answer the question, back to the question, is that I've had multiple times where it's just God bringing a word to me, or words telling me that he will guide me, or that he's going to take care of me, that I am his treasure, or that he loves me, or he sees me as precious. And he just reassures me, and then I just start break down crying because I'm like, you're so right, like, you got this, like, I don't know what I'm worrying about. And then it goes back, and then he tells me again, and it's sometimes, it's sometimes a little cycle, but I'm learning, and then in those times where it comes back again, then I have to go back to remembering, obviously, what God already told me. Yeah, and then that's part of the battle, but I mean, we have him, and I know that he tells me those things, or he's already told me, and even when I don't hear anything, I already know that he's spoken over me, so I have to go back to that. But yeah, that's a way, that's the biggest way that God speaks to me.
You're saying, what I hear is, so, well, we have read the 5 love languages.
Yes.
And so what we have concluded with her is that words of affirmation, it's your main love language. And if you haven't heard of the 5 love languages by Gary Chapman, I encourage you to buy it and read it. And I think it's a really good book. I know many people can understand that intuitively, because I have a friend that she has not read it, and she's really good at loving her husband and loving her kids, and I don't think she needs the book, and she doesn't think she needs the book. And that's okay, but some of us do need it. So we have read the book, and words of affirmation are her main love language, and that's why she has kind of understood how God shows her that he loves her through words of affirmation. And not only through thoughts that he puts in our mind, that he highlights in her mind, but also through his word. He highlights Bible verses and that speak to her whatever may be going on at the moment, whatever she may be battling on in her mind, whatever situation is going on. It's how God has showed her that he loves her. So that's, as I asked her today, how have you felt that God how have you grown in that knowledge and understanding and revelation of God's love for you? I thought it was so cool, because I think each of us, if you have a relationship with God, I don't know, depending on how long you've had your relationship with God, there are different ways that you can feel loved. There are different ways that God speaks to you, and so that's for her.
I was gonna say, if I can add that, like, before, obviously, like, what we were saying is that I didn't know that before there was like a specific, and not that like God won't speak to you in different ways, because I believe that he'll speak to you in all other ways, but he cares about, like, specifically about you, and wants to be able to show you his love specifically in a way for you. For me, it was words of affirmation or reassurance, because I sometimes need a lot of reassurance sometimes, but I didn't know that. I didn't know before that that obviously God cares for you specifically, so it should be almost like, yeah, of course he's going to speak to me like this, and he'll speak to you in many ways, but he cares about you specifically, so he'll do it in ways that you'll receive it,
love, that you'll feel loved.
Yeah, and so, because yours, and I didn't know that before until now that I think about it, and I'm like, right, like, every time that he's spoken to me, he always reassures me, and especially when I'm going through something, he reassures me, and I know that that's different for everybody, but I think it's cool because your way is different than my way, and it's not like sometimes I don't feel, like, I do feel the presence of God, but for me, mainly how God speaks to me is through highlighting things in my mind, or words, or things that I need in the moment. And then for you, it's different.
So my primary love language is physical touch. So I've frequently, or usually, have experiences in feeling his presence so strongly that I feel like I can feel him all around me, and I can feel the anointing in his presence on my body, like the warmth and this heavy presence, but it's a good feeling. It's not something bad. Like
you said, like a hug.
Like a hug, like he's surrounding me and hugging me, because that's how I feel loved. And as well, I get words and Bible verses, but it's like that way that it's highlighted, or it's stronger than the other ways, because he knows that that's how I feel loved. So that has been my experience in my relationship with him mostly. And we're sharing this because we want to encourage you.
Yeah.
One, to think about, okay, how do you feel loved? How have you experienced his love? Is there a specific way that he has shown you that he loves you? And yes, just to meditate on it. And if you haven't, I don't know, it all depends, I think, on how long you have been knowing him and pursuing him through reading his word. And, you know, you have to, the word says that he draws us, draws us to him with his love. And so, but you have to also put in, obviously, your part in reading his word and making time to have those encounters with him. So that's how you're going to have those experiences with him, and you're going to get deepened in your revelation of his love for you. Yeah. So that's that. And then something else. Is there anything else that you would like to share?
That sometimes it's not even like you do what how you're saying relationship, that it's talking to him throughout the day, and that's also how sometimes I've gotten revelations, and not like super huge, like holy revelations, you know, but like when this happened my senior year, I believe, where, well, junior and senior year, I was more intentionally like trying to talk to God every day. Or just in random times whenever I was walking outside, or I was walking by myself and I was looking around, and I have like specific times where I remember that God has spoken to me, like for example, when I see birds, remember birds, because when I was, I believe this was either end of junior year or starting senior year, that I was walking outside, and it was summer and it was hot, and I remember that I had finished my math, I think it was my math, so then this was junior year. Yeah, I'm trying to remember the timeline. But anyways, I had just finished one of the tests that I had to finish, went outside to go to the restroom, and I remember I was just walking outside, and I was looking outside, and it looked so pretty, and I love when it's all sunny outside, and like the birds are outside and they're chirping, and I remember that I saw
chirping?
Birds are chirping?
You said tripping?
No.
Okay, chirping.
They're not tripping. Hopefully not. No. Okay. They were chirping.
Chirping.
Yes. Okay. My bad. I don't know if that was my bad or your bad.
I don't know.
But they were...
Okay.
They were chirping.
Okay.
They were chirping.
Yes, okay. They were singing.
Yeah, you know what? I'm going to change it. The birds were singing outside. Okay. They were flying. Okay. And they looked so pretty flying. And I liked how it looked, and I saw the birds, and I thought they were so pretty, and so I was like, wow, I was so amazed, and I was like, God, your creation is so beautiful. And I remember I said that, and then what came like instantly to my mind was, that's how I see you. Oh my gosh, that made me cry. There was a bench right there. I sat down and I started crying. I was like, wow, because I truly was so in awe at that moment, because it looked so beautiful, and the birds looked so beautiful flying, and I was like, wow, they're so careless, and they just look so nice, and I know, and when I was like, wow, I was like, God, I'm so like in awe of your creation, and he was like, that's how I see you, and I was like, oh my gosh, and that in that moment was such a big revelation to me, because I was looking at the birds and everything with like really such awe and such like, wow, like it's beautiful, and then I was like, wow, like if I'm looking at them with that much, like, and I loved it that much, seeing that in that moment, then like how much more does God look at us, and he's like, wow, I'm so in awe of them and what they do. And I was like, wow. So then in the moment I started crying, and I was like, wow, because that was so like, it touched my heart. Like I was like, wow, like that's how God sees me. And then when you think about it more individually, like he cares about you individually. And so thinking of that for me, I was like, wow, I was like, he cares about me individually, and he sees me like that. And so that's kind of like in relationship with God. And I don't do it perfectly either, because sometimes I get busy, or I don't talk to God like
We
all
miss
day.
days.
Yeah, and then that's like, then I have to remember again, like, you know, to put God as my priority, and remember like throughout the day to talk to him, because he's there with me every single moment. So anyways, that's something that I was doing very intentionally junior, senior year. And that's
one of those experiences.
That's one of those experiences, and just something that, like, you know, to encourage, or that you can do, is to talk to him during the day and expect him to answer you, because he wants to answer you. And it's all about putting your focus on God, and expecting him, not like, oh well, maybe he's not going to, you know, like, I mean, that's where it kind of comes to problems with kind of how you see God. If like you think, oh, he's not going to answer me, or he won't.
I was reminded of as you were saying about the birds, example or experience that you had. I was reminded about the shooting star when we were camping, and I already shared that. Like I said, I shared that in previous episodes when I was talking about God's love for women, but I already shared it from my perspective. Maybe if you want to share it from your perspective, how that happened.
Yeah, I remember I was by the campfire when you were over there, like, laying down in the grass. And then I remember you're like, I saw a shooting star. And so then I went over with you, and then you told me how you prayed, how you said that for God to show you that he loved you,
how much
he loves you through a shooting star.
By showing me a shooting star.
And then you were like, do you want to do it too? And I was like, yeah. And so then you're like, okay, so say after me. And I was like, okay. You're like, Lord, I want you to show me somehow, like, so around those words, like, how much you love me through showing me a shooting star. And so then I remember in that moment, because now at that time I had already known about Andrew Womack, and about how we need to expect God to do those things, to answer. And so I was like, okay, well, I'll expect for God to show me it, because he does love me. So I expect for him to show me the shooting star. And then that's when I was like, even if he doesn't show me, I know he loves me regardless. But, you know, like, I know that God would want to show me that. And so I was just like, okay, I'm going to put my, like, expectancy that he's going to show me. And it didn't even take long. It was like maybe seconds. It was like maybe 5 or 6 seconds after I prayed that, and I was like, and then I saw the shooting star, and oh my gosh, we were like, oh my gosh, and we were so excited.
We jumped up.
Yeah. It was so crazy, because at that time I had never ever seen a shooting star ever before. So I thought,
I did. Yeah, I had.
I had never seen a shooting star before, so I thought that was super cool. Sorry.
So that's another example, I guess, for us. And we're just saying these things again, I want to repeat, because we want to encourage you in your walk with God. We want you to know, because when I started in my Christian journey, let's say, or I remember when I used to read the word and not understand a lot. I mean, I would here and there. And when I wouldn't experience his presence, so I would doubt his love for me. So I am not sure you, whoever's listening to me, where your walk with God is, how your relationship with him is. And I think we all have different levels of revelation and understanding of his love. And that's what the Bible says. There's the Ephesians that says that there's the height, the depth, and the width of his love. So as we go throughout life, we experience the height, the depth, and the width of his love, and in deeper levels as we grow in our relationship with him. And for me, you'll always hear me say relationship, because that's what I believe it is. I am not a perfect Christian. I am not a perfect woman. She's not a perfect Christian. She's not a perfect woman. But we do love encouraging other women and sharing our testimonies, sharing our experiences, sharing what God does in us, so other people, other women can benefit from it and get encouragement as well, and get strengthened as well in their relationship with God. because that's what it is. That is the most important thing. That is what's going to make a difference in your life. If you pursue God in relationship, just as her and I, we spend time together, we talk with each other, and we demonstrate our love for each other in different ways. That's how I like to explain it to other people. That's how your relationship with God is. You as you spend time together with him, as you read his word, as you talk to him and expect him to talk to you, maybe audibly. Some people get audibly. I've never gotten an audible voice, but I know that thoughts get highlighted in my mind. Thoughts come just all of a sudden to my mind sometimes, and I know that it's God talking to me. But you grow in that what's the word, reassurance also, like when you know that it's God talking to you, that it's him. Those thoughts are coming from him. And there's different ways I think that God speaks. There's also desires. I've learned, and I believe that he also speaks through desires that he puts in your heart. So that is something that, and he speaks through peace as well. So there's different ways that we experience in our journey in life, in our relationship with him, that you learn to know that God is speaking to you one way or another. And these are just some ways that I wanted her to share, because just as I am Christian and I'm her mom, but she has had to grow in her relationship with God, and knowing that he loves her, knowing in that relationship with him. And as she was telling me all of that, and I was I thought it was so good that I told her we need to record this, because I think other people need to hear also from people, from youth her age, not just from me. Like, I'm older, but I'm her mom.
She said, I'm older.
So, anyways, that's why we wanted to record this episode on God's love for you. And what does that mean? Well, you have to start having that relation and putting that effort, because it's going to take some time and effort on your part to grow in your relationship and your knowledge, understanding, and revelation of his love for you. And I don't know, is there anything else we want to share?
I think another one that we were talking about too is seeing him as our father. That was another one. I think for me, that was, like I was telling you before, that was a very it was a revelation for sure that he was my father. And it's obviously like those things that like he is my father, but you have to have that heart revelation where you know that he's your father, like and for me, that was, I don't know why it was hard, to come to terms that he was my father. I think I have I think I know, but that's not something we're gonna go into fully right now, if not, we're gonna be here for hours. But you kind of know. And so that was interesting. And I remember, I think really this year has been the year where I know that he's my father. It hasn't been, this is a pretty recent revelation. I think I've been telling you this year since it started, is that I wrote down that I want to know him as my father. And then he started showing me, and so I thought that was interesting. I was reading the book called Terrain. It's a very good book that I would say
Terrain. We'll put it in the description.
Yeah, it's a very, very good book. And I started reading it, and it talks a lot about kingdom mindset, knowing that you're in the kingdom, that you're not an orphan, that the way that you're supposed to be living, he calls it Kingdom 1, Chair 1, Chair 2. And so Chair 1, 3, I think, no? Chair 3, yes, for the people that don't know, of God.
Don't know God at all.
And Chair 2 is where you know God, but you're striving and you're trying to be to kind of like be in the kingdom, and then
trying to do in order to be. That's what he said.
Yeah, to like feel accepted in like the kingdom of God. And then chair 1 is where you just know who you are because of Jesus, because he made you already a daughter or son of God, and you just are in the family, and it's not like you have to be anything. Like if you were to go right now through all of this life and do nothing for God, not minister, not do anything, you are still in the will of God because you are his daughter or son. And obviously that's not what we're called to do either. God has a purpose and a plan for us, obviously, but we don't have to do things to feel like we're in the family and like God is going to take care of us, because we just are in the family. So we can sit back and be like, you know what, he's going to take care of us because what, he's our father. And so that book really helped me, and it's not stuff that I didn't already know, but it's just, well, some of it was, but like just the kingdom mindset and renewing your mind into thinking that way, because I think we all sometimes fall back. I sometimes do too, where it's like, oh no, I have to do this, or I have to read my Bible, and like I have to, like, you know, and it's not like that. It's out of relationship, because you're in the family. It's out of relationship that you do those things, you know,
because he's our father and we want to know him.
Yes. And so those things were like things that started becoming a revelation in me. And one of them that I like to share with my mom a lot is my favorite part that like I got out of it. And especially because I told God that I wanted to know him as my father. There was a part where he was talking about how you can feel safe with God and knowing that he's your father, because it's like the example that he gave was when you're in your house and you have your mom and your dad and you're a child, and he said it for when you're a child, and you have no cares because you know that in your house your father is in the house, or your mother and your father, but in the sense he put as your father, you know that your father is in the house, he's the provider, he's the one who takes care of you, you know. And so you can be in your room and you can go to sleep, and you can go to sleep comfortably. Why? Because you know you're gonna wake up and your father's gonna be in the house, and you know that he's the provider and that he's gonna take care of you. And the way that he explained it was so beautiful that for me I was just like, wow. I was like, that's a beautiful way to put it. And it's true, because I mean, not everybody knows or has that experience, or it's like a different experience for everybody. So I think that's also interesting when you read it, because maybe for some people they may be like, oh, that's not the experience that I had growing up, you know, where you're in the house and your father is a provider, things like that. But that is how it should be, and for us naturally, and it's not always like that. But we can put that in with God, because he's holy, he's pure, and the way that he takes care of us, we can put it in that way, where think about it as God, your father, that way, that he's in the house, he lives with you, he's in the house, he's your provider, he takes care of you, you know. He says if he clothes the lilies and the birds of the earth, and like how much more
tripping birds.
Yeah, the tripping birds, how much more will he take care of you, you know. He doesn't let them trip, so so it's like it's like, yeah, like you're making me lose my train of thought.
Sorry, I can't forget that. He eats the birds. How much more will he take care of us?
So yes, that was my big or more revelation, that again I knew that God is my father, and you know, but it's like something you hear like, oh, he's my father, and for me that's how it was, like, oh, he's my father, you know. And I'm like, I know he's my father, okay. but it was something that I was like, no, like he is my father, you know, like I don't have to worry about anything. And yet do I worry sometimes? Yes. but then that's when I have to be like, no, Evelyn, do not, because you have your father in the house. And that's like
oh, that's so good.
Yeah.
I'm gonna cry now. Oh man.
Yeah, it's so right, when you said if anything I want to add, that's what I wanted to add. That's for me what's been like my new revelation, or like that it's been becoming more of a revelation in my heart, more and more, because I know that I can still get a deeper revelation of it. But that also to just encourage that, like, people, that they should talk to God and be honest. Like I would say, even be honest with God. If you don't feel like he's your father, or you don't feel like he's shown up,
or like you can be
you can be honest with God. Like, you know, like I wouldn't well, like you can see it all through the Psalms, you know, when they go up and down, like King David, you know, with their emotions. And obviously we're not meant to live on our emotions, but God understands that because we are human. So he understands that our emotions go up and down. So I would say be
Especially
honest.
as women.
Yes. I would say be honest with God and be like, Lord, like, I don't know. Like, I don't know how you're my father. I don't see how you've been my father. And it's like being honest. And I know even as I say it, I'm like, oh, I'm sorry. Like, but it's the truth because it's not like he doesn't know that that's how we feel. Yeah. You know, like he knows. Yeah, true. And it's not like he's going to be offended by it, you know? So I think that would be a big one because that's something that I had to also
She's very honest.
Yeah.
She's very honest with God. With her father.
With my father. Hey, I can be honest with my father and be like, you know, and even if you haven't gotten to that place where you know him as your father, I would say, how are you going to build that foundation if you're not honest with him? Like, hey, like, I don't trust you right now, and I'm gonna need you to help me to trust you because I want to trust you. Yeah. You know, and he's gonna do so much with that. Yeah. So it's just being honest with God.
Yeah. And, I like it.
Yeah. Yeah. So that's kind of where I've been at. Where same, like, even to add on, like, with relationships, sometimes I've been like, Lord, like, I don't know, like, you said it, but I don't feel it, you know, and I'm like, so I need you to help me, you know, and then I have to be reminded, like, okay, well, you have to look at the word and, like, trust the word, not your feelings. Anyways, it's just all going back to being honest with him, and then he's gonna remind you of certain things or bring to your remembrance, like he says, certain things that he's promised you, or just the word of God that's going to help you.
His promises in the word.
Through the word. So just, being honest with God and not being scared that you're going to scare him away or offend him or that he's going to be mad at you. Yeah. Because he's not going to be mad at you. Like, that's not, we don't serve a mad God or a God that...
grumpy God.
Yeah, or one that's going to strike you down. None of that. Like, like he did before. But that's a whole different topic that he's not like that, guys. Yes. But he's love. He's love. He is. Love. Yes. So that would be my other encouragement for just any way, like if you want to know God in any way, like as your father, as peace, as who he is. Well, like once you get to know him as your father, you're going to know him as peace and as joy and all of those things. But regardless for what you need, you can be honest, like I don't feel joy right now, I don't feel peace, or I need you to help me, and just being honest with him.
Oh, preach this. I like it. Okay. I agree. I think you said everything very well.
Thank you. Anything you want to add?
No, I don't think so. I think you said everything.
Yeah.
It's really good. I think she's a teacher of the word. And I tell her that she's a excellent teacher. Yeah, she won't let me go if she wants to teach me something. She will not let me go until I get it.
Because I want to make sure you get it, you know, like.
Yeah, so she's a great teacher. But yeah, I think with that, thank you so much for watching. I hope this has blessed you, and I had so much fun.
I had fun with the tripping birds and with everything.
I think we're gonna do this more often, and thank you for watching. Send it to somebody if it blessed you and somebody that comes to your mind, and please subscribe, leave a comment, let us know if you liked it and why you liked the most. Did you like her? I know you did. Okay, bye-bye. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this episode, don't forget to subscribe so you stay up to date whenever I upload new episodes, and write a review, a comment. Also, if you need prayer, go to seedling.so. I'm not affiliated with them, but I know the founder, and this is a great resource if you need prayer. There will be real people praying for you when you submit your prayer request. So that's all for today. Thanks for watching.